The message arrived on Tuesday morning. Every screen on Earth showed the same image at the same time, a lightning bolt with blue-gray skin and big, kind eyes. No one had hacked the world systems. Nobody was playing a prank. This was real. "People of Earth," said the alien in perfect English, "I am Ambassador Zixter of the Galactic Council. We have watched your progress for centuries and believe you are ready to join us among the stars." In the hours that followed, governments fought back. Leaders who were enemies yesterday now sat side by side in emergency meetings. The United Nations building in Geneva became the center of the world. Everyone wanted to know what would happen next. 3 days later, a ship appeared in the sky above Geneva. It didn't look like the flying saucers in the old movies. Instead, it was shaped like a giant leaf, glowing with colors that changed as it moved through the clouds. It landed noiselessly in the field outside the UN building. Ambassador Zixter left, followed by 6 other aliens of different species. Some walked on 4 legs, others floated above the ground. One appeared to be made of living crystal. They were representatives of the Galactic Council, a group of 27 advanced species that had worked together for over 12,000 years. Lisa Miller watched everything from the back of the room. She was a captain in the United States Navy with years of special diplomatic training. At 42 years old, she has seen war and peace up close, but nothing prepared her for this moment. "Captain Miller," said the UN Secretary General, "please step forward." Lisa walked to the center of the room. She could feel the eyes of the world on her through the cameras. "The nations of Earth have chosen you as our liaison on the Galactic Council," said the Secretary General. "You will represent all humanity in these negotiations." Lisa looked at the aliens, trying not to show surprise or fear. "I accept this duty," she said simply. Ambassador Zixter approached. Up close, Lisa could see that his skin was not just blue-gray, but had patterns like small waves moving across it. "Captain Miller," he said, his voice musical and strange, despite the perfect words. "The Galactic Council welcomes you to Earth. We have much to offer your kind." "What exactly do you offer?" Lisa asked. Zixter smiled, or at least Lisa thought it was a smile. "Medicine that can cure any disease. Ships that can travel faster than light. Knowledge gathered from millions of years of science. Protection from the dangers that lurk between the stars." The room was silent. These gifts seemed too good to be true. "And what does Earth offer in return?" Lisa asked, carefully feeling her way through this strange new territory. "We will discuss the details in the coming days," Zixter said. "For now, know that your planet has great potential. The board does not invite new members lightly." That night, Lisa couldn't sleep. She stood at the window of her hotel room, looking at the stars. Somewhere up there was the Council's main fleet, waiting. Tomorrow, they would begin formal talks. Her phone rang. It was Alan Jackson, the xenolinguist who studied the Council's language. "Captain, I'm reading their greeting messages again," he said, his voice tense. "There's something strange about the way they talk about Earth. They keep using this word which translates as rich in resources, but also has meanings like unexploited or harvestable." Lisa frowned. "Keep digging, Dr. Jackson. I want to know exactly what we're getting into." As she hung up, she noticed a light in the sky that wasn't a star. One of the Council ships in orbit. For the first time, Lisa wondered if the arrival of the Galactic Council would be the beginning of something wonderful for humanity. The beginning of the end. The fate of Earth would now depend on what happened in the coming weeks, and somehow Lisa Miller was at the center of it all. 2 weeks have passed since the aliens arrived. The world held its breath as negotiations continued behind closed doors. Today was different. Today, the Galactic Council would present its official offer to Earth. Lisa Miller stood tall in her dress uniform. The room was filled with world leaders, scientists, and military chiefs. Ambassador Zixter and 3 other foreign representatives sat at the large round table. "People of Earth," Zixter began, his voice echoing in the silent room. "The Galactic Council is pleased to offer your species membership in our ancient alliance." A hologram appeared above the table. It showed ships, planets, and strange machines. The aliens explained each image. They offered medicines that could cure cancer and prolong human life. They showed engines that could take ships to distant stars in days rather than centuries. They promised protection from dangerous species that humans had not yet encountered. Imagine, put in a tall, skinny alien with 4 arms. Your children will grow up in a disease-free universe. Your scientists will learn secrets that would take you thousands of years to discover on your own. the room filled with excited whispers. This felt like a dream come true. Dr. Alan Jackson sat near the back, his eyes half closed. He had spent the last 2 weeks studying the language and history of the council. Something didn't feel right. "If I may," said Alan, standing up, "I would like to ask about page 94 of your agreement." Zixter's smile faded slightly. "Of course. It states that Earth will be classified as a Category 4 species. What exactly does this mean?" The room fell silent again. Zixter glanced at his fellow council members before responding. "Category 4 is simply an administrative designation," he said softly. "It means you are a developing species under municipal protection." Alan was not satisfied. "And these requirements for Earth to provide raw materials, platinum, titanium, uranium in specific quantities each year. Standard procedure," Zixter said. "All board members contribute to the greater good. And these restrictions on our military development." Alan pressed. Lisa watched closely. She noticed the same problems, but wanted to see how the aliens would react when asked directly. Zixter's skin patterns moved faster now. "Captain Miller, perhaps your translator, is not fully understanding our terms. These are protections, not restrictions. The cosmos can be dangerous." Later that night, Lisa called an emergency meeting in a secure room deep inside the Geneva building. Alan was there, along with game theory expert Patricia Weber and several other experts. "Let me be clear," Patricia said, pointing to the computer screen. "I have reviewed this offer. It was designed to keep us dependent on the advice forever. We give them our resources, and they give us enough technology to make ourselves useful, but never enough to be truly independent." Alan nodded. "In their language, Category 4 literally translates to useful child. We would never have equal voting on council matters." Lisa looked around the room. "What about their technology? Is it really as advanced as they claim?" NASA engineer Kevin Ortiz did some reading. "Our instruments have detected energy signatures from their ships that go far beyond what they showed us. They are hiding their most advanced technology." "Why would they do this?" Lisa asked. "Control," Patricia said simply. "If they give us everything, maybe we won't need them anymore." Next morning, Ambassador Zixter approached Lisa before the formal session began. "We need an answer soon, Captain Miller," he said. "The Council set a 30-day deadline for Terra to accept our generous offer. 30 days is not a lot of time for a decision that affects our entire species," Lisa replied. Zixter's eyes hardened. "It's more than enough. All the species we contacted accepted within a few days. Your hesitation is unusual." As he walked away, Lisa felt a shiver. The word each stuck in his mind. No species had ever questioned the advice before, or those who did simply disappeared from history. Lisa knew that the next few weeks would determine Earth's future and was beginning to think that the star's bright offering might have a hidden price too high to pay. World leaders gathered in a secret bunker deep in the Rocky Mountains. It had been 20 days since the Council's offer, and time was running out. President Samantha Clark stood at the head of the table, looking tired but determined. "We need a decision," she said. "The Council grows more impatient by the day." Lisa Miller watched as arguments broke out around the table. Some nations wanted to accept the offer immediately. The promise of advanced medicine alone could save millions of lives. Others wanted more time to study the agreement. "Can I talk?" Alan Jackson asked. Everyone was silent as the scientist stood up. For the past few weeks, he has barely slept, studying every word of the Council's offer. "I translated the entire agreement," he said, "and hidden in their legal language is the right to take any human being for research purposes without our consent." Gasps filled the room. President Clark asked, "Are you sure?" Alan nodded grimly. "Their language is complicated. The words have a double meaning, but yes, I'm sure." Patricia Weber was next, with her data projections appearing on the wall. "I have analyzed similar agreements throughout human history. From colonial powers, from conquering nations, this follows the same pattern. Give brilliant gifts, take everything of real value." Kevin Ortiz added, "We have been secretly scanning your ships. They are powered by something that breaks our understanding of physics, but they have only offered us basic faster-than-light travel. They are keeping the real advances to themselves." President Clark looked around the room. "What do other countries say?" The Chinese representative spoke. "Our analysis matches yours. We have concerns about these terms." The Russian leader nodded. "This is not a partnership of equals." One by one, each major nation shared their analysis. Despite different cultures and political systems, Everyone reaches similar conclusions. The Council's offer was designed to make Earth dependent. Lisa spoke last. I spent hours with Zixfar and the other board members. At first they seemed friendly, open. But whenever we ask difficult questions, they get defensive. They don't treat us like future partners. They treat us like children. Outside the bunker, life went on. People around the world watched as alien ships hovered in the sky. Some saw them as saviors of the stars. Others feared what might be hidden behind our friendly faces. Protests for and against the Council broke out in major cities. That night, Lisa couldn't sleep again. She walked to her bedroom window and looked up at the stars. The deadline was just 10 days. What would happen if Earth said no? Has any species refused advice before? Her phone rang. It was a message from Kevin. You like G. Come to the lab now. 20 minutes later, Lisa was in a safe room, looking at a screen full of strange symbols. Intuck, we opt for this communication between the Council building and the local system. Kevin explained. Our best computer took hours to decipher even a small part of it. Alan pointed to the translated text on another screen. They are discussing us. Listen to this part. The human demonstration regarding independence standards recommends adjusting to the Category 4 Standard Integration Protocol. What does this mean? Lisa asked. Patricia looked somber. They are talking about changing us, not just our society. The word they use for adjustment can also mean alteration or correction. Lisa felt cold. You mean mind control, genetic manipulation? We don't know exactly, Alan said, but they are planning something beyond what they told us. The room fell silent as the weight of this discovery sunk in. The deadline was approaching, and now they knew the truth. The Galactic Council wasn't just offering membership. They were planning to change humanity itself to make them obedient members. Lisa looked at her team. We need to tell the president. At this point, the day of decision has arrived. 30 days have passed since the Galactic Council made its offer. The world voted. Each country, each citizen, gave their opinion through emergency polls and polls. The answer was, ready. Ambassador Zixter and 5 other foreign representatives sat in the United Nations chamber. They seemed confident, even bored. After all, no species has ever refused them before. President Summit the Clark walked to the center of the room. Drone cameras hovered silently, broadcasting this moment to every corner of the Earth and beyond, to orbiting city ships. Ambassador Zixter, President Clark began, his voice firm. On behalf of all the nations and peoples of Earth, I thank the Galactic Council for its offer of membership. Zixter's skin rippled with patterns of satisfaction. He began to raise his hand in what the humans now knew was a gesture of acceptance. However, President Clark continued, we must respectfully decline. The room froze. The foreign delegates looked at each other in confusion. One of them, a tall being made of changeable crystal, flickered as if losing control of its form. Maybe there is a translation error, Zixter said, his voice no longer soft but sharp with surprise. You can't refuse. No species refuses to be a member of the Council. Lisa Miller stepped forward to stand beside the president. There is no mistake, Ambassador. Earth has made its decision. We want to remain independent at this time. Another council member, a floating blue sphere, stepped forward. This is not possible. You need our protection. You need our guidance. What we need, Lisa replied firmly, is to develop on our own terms. We are willing to establish commercial and diplomatic relations with the Council as equals and not as subordinates. Zixter's skin now pulsed with dark colors. You don't understand your position. Category 4 status is generous for a species at its level of development. President Clark stood firm. We understand perfectly, Ambassador. We study your agreement carefully. The restrictions on our development, the demands on our resources, the clauses that allow our population to adjust. These terms are unacceptable. The crystal being made a sound similar to glass breaking. The other aliens began speaking rapidly in their own languages, their translation devices unable to keep up with the urgent tone. That never happened, Zixter said, almost to himself. We must consult the protocols. Lisa watched them closely. The cold and superior attitude disappeared. For the first time, the council members looked confused, even afraid. We request time to consult with the entire board, Zixter finally said. Of course, replied President C. Lark. The Earth remains open to the discussion of truly egalitarian relationships in the future. The aliens left quickly, almost running to their ship. As they left, Lisa's phone rang. It was Kevin. Our monitoring stations are capturing massive power spikes from the municipal fleet, he said. They are sending emergency signals to all their ships in the sector. Lisa looked up through the glass ceiling, where she could see the council ships shining brighter than before in the night sky. They are panicking, she said. But why? What happens when someone says no? Later that night, Lisa met with her team in the safe room. The data screens showed council ships quickly departing Earth's orbit. Of the 50 ships that arrived, only 10 remain. They are fleeing, Kevin said in disbelief. Alan looked up from his translations. I intercepted more communications. They keep mentioning something called Precedent and 7 Alpha Protocol. They are activating emergency measures throughout their territory. All because we said no. Lisa wondered. Patricia studied the data. They never expected refusal. Their entire system depends on the species accepting offers. We break your standards in some way. But let's go high? Lisa asked. What are they so afraid of? Alan's face turned serious as he pointed to a new translation on the screen. This message mentions the last refusal 8,000 years ago. Apparently, we are only the second species to say no to them. And what happened to the first one? Lisa asked. Alan's voice was low. They don't say exactly, but they are calling an emergency meeting with all 27 species council. The message ends with these words. The cycle starts again. Lisa looked out the window at the stars. Earth had just entered uncharted territory, and the Galactic Council was terrified. A week after Earth's refusal, the world changed. Countries that were once enemies now worked together, united by a common goal, understanding what was happening in the stars above. Lisa Miller was in the new Earth Defense Command Center, built deep in the mountains. Screens covered the walls, showing the positions of the remaining Council ships. Most fled, but some stayed to watch the Earth from a distance. We made a breakthrough, Alan said as he ran to his room. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. But he was smiling. We deciphered their main communication codes. Kevin pressed a few buttons, and suddenly the screens filled with strange text, slowly changing to English as the computers translated. These are messages between the Council ships and their home worlds, Kevin explained. They don't know we can see them. Lisa read the first message. Emergency Protocol 7, Alpha now in effect. All species in the Council must prepare defensive measures against potential human expansion. Another message read, humans must be contained. If they follow the path of Arithai, all may be lost. Arithai? Lisa asked, who are they? Alan shook his head. We don't know yet, but it must be the species that refused the advice before us. Patricia pointed to another screen. Look at this one. It is the Council's main governing body. The message was clear. Human refusal triggered the ancient warning. The full Council will meet in 3 days to discuss containment or elimination options. Elimination. Lisa's voice was barely a whisper. They are talking about exterminating us. Some of them are, Alan said. But see, there is disagreement. Some Council species are arguing against this. Lisa watched as more messages appeared. The alien species were fighting each other. Some wanted to attack Earth immediately. Others wanted to try again with a better offer. Some even suggested leaving the hum years in peace to see what would happen. They are afraid of us, Patricia said, studying the messages. Not what we are now, but what we can become. Just then, a new alert sounded. Kevin checked his instruments. We are detecting massive energy readings at the edge of our solar system. More municipal ships are arriving. The room became tense. Were they coming to attack? But the new ships did not move toward Earth. Instead, they formed a ring around the outer edge of the solar system. They're setting up a blockade, Kevin said, trapping us in our own system. Can we overcome this? Lisa asked. Kevin shook his head. Not with our current technology. As they watched the alien ships, Alan continued translating more messages. Suddenly he choked. You need to see this, he said, his voice shaking. I found records about the Earthie, a species that previously refused them. The main screen showed an image of tall, elegant beings with 6 limbs and golden skin. The Earthie refused to be members of the Council 8,143 years ago. Alan read. They developed technologies that the Council had banned. In 200 years, they achieved what the record calls transcendence. Then they just disappeared. Lisa asked. Were they destroyed? No, Alan said. Council records say they evolved beyond physical form. They have achieved some kind of higher state of existence. The Council could no longer follow them, could no longer control them. The room fell silent when they understood. The council was not a government. It was a cage, a system designed to prevent species from developing too much and too fast. That's why they're panicking. Lisa said softly. They think we could follow the same path as the Earthy. Will we? Patricia asked. Nobody had an answer. Outside, people from all over the world looked up at the night sky. They couldn't see the blockade of alien ships, but they could feel that something had changed. Earth was not alone, isolated from the rest of the galaxy. But for the first time, humans understood their potential. If a species had transcended sooner, perhaps humans could too. The path would not be easy, with the Council working against them. But Earth has taken the first step toward a greater destiny than the Council ever planned for them. 2 months after Earth's refusal, strange ships began to arrive. They were small and fast, breaking through the Council's blockade under cover of darkness. They did not belong to any known council. Lisa and her team watched one of these ships land on a remote island in the Pacific. Armed soldiers surrounded him, weapons drawn. The door opened, and a tall being came out. It had purple skin that seemed to glow from within and 4 arms that moved with grace. "I am Kelter of the Minery," said the alien, raising his 4 hands to show that he carried no weapons. "We came in secret against the Council's orders." Hours later, Lisa sat across from Kelter in a secure room. President Clark and leaders from other nations joined by video. "The Council lied to you," Kelter said. "They are not a union of equals. They are a prison built by the intermediate species to contain the superior ones." "Medium species?" Lisa asked. "The galaxy has many types of life." Kelter explained. "Some remain simple. Others advance to a certain point and stop. But some, like the Earthy of long ago, and perhaps humans now, have the potential to go further, to transcend physical limitations." Alan leaned forward. "The transcendence you mentioned in your records?" Kelter nodded. "The Council was made up of species who feared being left behind. They were advanced enough to understand what the Earthy were becoming, but not advanced enough to follow them. So they created rules to control all species and keep everyone on the same level." President Clark spoke on the screen. "Why are you telling us this? Will the Council not punish its people?" "The board is falling apart," Kelter said. His refusal triggered long-held fears. Many species now question everything they have been told. "My people, the minority, have always suspected the truth. We were forced to join the Council 4,000 years ago. We never had a choice. So what happens now?" Lisa asked. "War, perhaps," Kelter said sadly. "The Council's oldest species want to destroy the land before you advance too far. Others, like my people, want to learn from you." The Council chamber is filled with shouting where before there was only obedience. Kevin entered the room with new data on his tablet. "We are detecting unusual activity on the locked ships. They are moving to new positions." Kelter looked worried. "They are preparing." The Council made its decision. "What decision?" Lisa asked, even though she feared she knew the answer. "The Radicals won the debate," Kelter said. "They will attack Earth rather than risk another transcendence." The room fell silent. After a moment, Patricia asked, "Can you help us?" "Their technology must be more advanced than ours." "We will share what we can," Kelter said. "But my ship is small, and the Minari are not warriors. We hid our true research for centuries, developing in secret what the Council forbids." "What type of research?" Ellen asked. Kelter's eyes seemed to glow. "The path to transcendence. Exactly what the Council fears most." That night, while scientists from around the world worked with Kelter and the other Minari visitors, Lisa stood outside looking at the stars. "Can we really fight them?" she asked as Ellen joined her. "Their ships, their weapons, are far beyond us. Maybe we don't need to fight." Ellen said. "The Minari data suggests that Erythine did not win the war. They have simply evolved beyond the need for physical bodies. And we can do the same." Lisa asked. "In time to save ourselves?" Ellen looked uncertain. "I don't know. Erythine took 2 centuries. We might have 2 weeks." Inside the base, Kelter showed the human scientists a strange device that glowed with internal light. "This is a fragment of Erythine technology," he explained. "We have studied it for generations, but we barely understand its principles." As the humans gathered around the alien device, none of them noticed the small changes beginning in their brains, new connections forming, new thought patterns emerging. The path to transcendence had already begun, triggered by contact with ancient technology. The question was whether humanity would travel this path quickly enough to survive what was to come. The attack occurred in the early hours of the morning. The Council ships broke through Earth's atmosphere, their weapons gleaming against the morning sky. But Earth was ready. A month has passed since Kelter's arrival. At that time, more ships from the Council's rebel species arrived, bringing knowledge and technology. The Minari joined the Trask, the Valari, and others who saw humanity as a chance to free themselves from the Council's control. Colonel Ryan Foster stood in the command center, his face grim. He once led ground troops in desert warfare. Now he commanded Earth's United Defense Forces against an enemy from the stars. All stations report ready, his second-in-command said. Ryan nodded and activated the shield. All over the world, towers built with alien help are turned on. A glow spreads across the sky as energy fields connect. The first Council guns carried this shield and exploded harmlessly. "It's holding up," Ryan said, allowing himself a small smile. In another part of the base, Lisa and Alan worked with Kelter and Dr. Nickel Bennett, Earth's leading quantum physicist. They stood around a strange device that pulsed with blue light, the earthy artifact. "The shield won't last forever," Kelter warned. "Council ships carry planet-killing weapons. They're holding back now, but if they get desperate..." Nickel hasn't taken his eyes off his work. His fingers moved across the holographic controls with newfound skill. Since exposure to the earthy device, his mind has changed. She saw patterns in quantum fields that no human being had ever understood before. "Up close," she said, "the phase change technology is almost ready." This was humanity's true hope, not the shields, not the weapons they built with alien help. The earthy escaped the Council, moving to another dimension of reality. Nickel and his team were trying to replicate this technology. The building shook as a powerful Council weapon struck nearby. "They are attacking our research facilities," Alan said, checking his tablet. "They know what we are doing." Kelter's skin paled. "We were betrayed. Someone on the board knows earthy technology." Lisa's phone rang. It was Kevin from the monitoring station. "Lisa, 3 more Council factions have just arrived in the system. But something is strange. They're attacking other Council ships, not us. The Council is disintegrating." Kelter said that when Lisa broke the news, our rebellion spread. "Many species are tired of being held back, of being controlled." Another explosion, this time closer. The lights flickered. "We're running out of time." Nickel said, "I need to test the phase change field, but I don't have enough data on how it will affect living tissue." Lisa looked at the device and then at her team. "Test it on me." "Lisa, no," Alan protested. "It could kill you. Or it could save us all." Lisa replied, "We don't have time for caution." Before anyone could stop her, Lisa entered the testing chamber. Nickel hesitated, then activated the controls. The blue light from the earthy device grew brighter, surrounding Lisa in a shimmering field. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Lisa gasped. His body seemed to shimmer, becoming transparent, then solitary. "D again." His eyes widened. "I can see," she whispered. "I can see everything." The field collapsed, and Lisa fell to her knees. Alan ran to help her. "Are you injured?" he asked anxiously. Lisa looked up, and everyone backed away. His eyes now glowed with the same blue light as the earthy device. "I'm not hurt," she said, her voice strangely calm. "I'm changed." For a moment, I could see the higher dimensions. I could feel what Earthy felt. Nickel examined Lisa with instruments. "Your brain activity is off the charts. New neural pathways are forming. Can you replicate it?" Kelter asked urgently. "Can you make phase-shifting work for other people?" Lisa stood, firmer now. "Yes. And more than that, I understand now. Transcendence is not a technology. It's an evolution. Technology just opens the door." Outside, the battle raged in the sky. But inside the research lab, humanity had just taken the first real step toward becoming something the Council had always feared, the next transcendent race. 5 years have passed since the day Earth refused the Council's offer. The planet has changed in ways that no one could imagine. The UES horizon floated silently above the Earth. Its elegant shape, unlike any ship humans have ever built. It was the first truly faster-than-light capable vessel built by human hands. Captain Lisa Miller stood on the bridge, looking out at the blue-green world below. "All systems ready," the captain told the pilot. "We can launch when you give the word." Lisa nodded. His eyes still retained that faint blue glow that appeared after his exposure to earthy technology. She wasn't the only one. Thousands of humans now showed signs of the change. Begin launch sequence, she ordered. Let's make history. The war with the Council ended 3 years ago, not with victory or defeat, but with a truce. The Council had fragmented, split into 3 separate groups. Radicals still wanted to destroy the Earth. Moderates sought peaceful relations. The progressives, led by the minority and other ancient Council species, have openly allied themselves with the humans. As the horizon moved away from Earth, Lisa thought about how far they had come. Dr. Nickel Bennett's team has created wonders in their lives. Phase change technology has advanced beyond what the Minori thought possible. It seemed that humans had a special talent for this type of science. Message from Earth Command, the communications officer said. Dr. Bennett wants to talk to you. Nickel's face appeared on the screen. Just like Lisa, her eyes had that subtle blue glow. The final test was successful. Nickel said, his voice excited. Total transcendence field stable for 20 minutes. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. Any side effects? None. Nickel replied. We are ready for the next phase. This was what the Hardline Council feared most. Humans were about to achieve what heresy had done 8,000 years ago. Not just visiting higher dimensions, but living in them. Evolving beyond physical fitness. We will be watching for your signal, Lisa said. Horizon out. The ship's engines hummed as they prepared for the jump. This trip had 2 purposes. First, to test man-made FTL travel. Second, look for signs of heresy. If another species had transcended earlier, perhaps it could guide humanity. Alan Jackson joined Lisa on the bridge. He was older now, with touching gray hair. He had not gone through the change, preferring to remain fully human to better document what was happening. Nervously, he asked. Lisa smiled. A little. We are going where no human has gone before. Where no advice of any kind went, Alan added. That's what scares them so much. The ship closed slightly as the engines were started. Jump in 5 seconds, the pilot announced. 4, 3, 2, 1. The stars blurred around them as the horizon spread faster than light. For a moment, reality itself seemed to buckle. Then they passed, floating in an unknown star system, years from Earth. Successful jump all, the pilot reported, relief clear in his voice. The crew applauded. Humanity has freed itself from the prison of the solar system. The Council's blockade was now meaningless. But while they were celebrating, something strange happened. A soft glow appeared in the center of the bridge. It slowly took shape, forming a tall, 6-limbed, golden-skinned figure. An air trip, Lisa whispered in awe. The beam made no sound, but Lisa and the other transformed humans felt words in their minds. We were waiting. The fog came. For 8,000 years, we have been waiting for others to join us. Alan couldn't hear the voice, but he saw the expression on Lisa's face. What is this saying? He asked. They were waiting for us. Lisa said softly. Earthy. Never disappeared. They evolved. They still exist in the higher dimensions. The golden figure reached out to Lisa. The path is open. The fight continued. Your species is on the threshold. As ours once did, will you pass? Lisa looked at her crew, at the stars beyond, and at the beam of light before her. Humanity turned down an offer 5 years ago, an offer of containment and control. Now they faced a different offer. Not of limitation, but of unlimited potential. Let's go. Lisa responded for her kind. Humanity is ready to transcend.